dry now, so that means we're ready to move on to painting. I chose the color elderberry, and we have the exact same style can. It's the 5-in-1, and so that means that we can do the same exact method, except for this specific color, since it's so dark and it's a little bit of a different formula in there, paint versus primer, we're gonna do a lot of lighter coats versus 1 or 2 heavy coats. This is just gonna ensure that we aren't getting drips, and it's also gonna help it dry a lot quicker. So I'm starting with the number 4, which is the vertical fan on the drawer fronts again. The first couple of coats are all dry now, so we're ready to move on to the last light coat. And before I do so, I'm just gonna take a 600 grit sanding sponge and knock back any texture that may have occurred over the time that these were drying. Sometimes dust likes to fall in the wet paint and cause a little bit of texture. So for the most smooth and flawless finish, this is a great step. It's not 100% necessary, but again, if you want that smooth finish, this is the secret. This is the key. I'm gonna go over all of the painted surfaces, and then we'll spray one last light coat. We are ready for the final coat here. I am gonna make sure that my spray can is all shook up and well mixed so that it sprays really well. And I'm gonna be using the same nozzle numbers for each area that I did before with the previous coats. All right, everything is all dry down there, at least to the touch, so we can finally move on to the top. I'm gonna go ahead and take this paper off, and we are going to start the staining process. The first step in the staining process is called pre-stain, and this is a product that you want to apply when you are utilizing oil-based stains. And I'm just gonna put it over the entire surface and wait about 20 to 30 minutes in order for it to kind of soak up into the wood. And what it's gonna allow is for the stain after this to just evenly get put onto the wood, and it's going to give you a lot better results. You're gonna wanna make sure to wear gloves when you're using this, since it is an oil-based product. Protect your skin. And then give it a good stir. And then you just take a bristle brush and apply it in the direction of the wood grain in order to cover the entire surface. You also want to make sure that your surface is free and clear of dust. We did that before, so we should be good to roll. Now that the pre-stain's on there, it's going to just kind of soak in for about 20 to 30 minutes, and then we'll come back with the stain color. Now that the pre-stain has sat here for about 20 to 30 minutes, it's ready to get the coat of stain on the top of it. So I'm going to be using the Varathane Premium Fast Dry in the color Dark Walnut. I'm going to apply it with a brush, and I'm going to go all the way across the entire surface with the grain of the wood, and I'm going to cover the whole surface, wait about 2 to 3 minutes, and then I'm going to wipe it back with a cloth so that way we get a really nice even look. We really want to make sure that this stain is stirred up nice so that we have all of the right colors dispersed correctly. That way we're not getting any blotchiness on our top here. Okay, and like I said, it has been about 2 to 3 minutes pretty much since I got the entire surface all stained. So I'm gonna go ahead and start wiping it back where I started applying the stain first. Another thing to note about this stain is that if you want a darker, richer color, you can always add another coat and even another coat. You just need to make sure to wait until this is all the way dry. And since this is the Premium Fast Dry, it dries in about an hour, and then you can recoat or do the poly over the top. I'm going to move down to the drawers. Remember, we're doing a pop of color in the inside, so I'm also going to stain those with the dark walnut as well. It is time to top coat this thing, and we are going to be using the triple thick polyurethane in a satin finish. The satin finish is going to give it just a little bit of a sheen, not too much of a gloss, but it's going to give us a really good protection coat. That way, if things go on top of the furniture, it won't ruin the finish. Whenever you're using a product, you want to make sure to stir it. And this specific product actually is going to be 3 times the amount of protection of a different poly in just one coat, when in other polys you would have to use 3 coats of the same product. So we're going to get this all mixed up, making sure that all of the properties are incorporated very well. And then, similar to the pre-stain and the stain, I'm going to apply it with a bristle brush in the direction of the wood grain, making nice long strokes from side to side, making sure that we have full coverage. So while the poly is drying on the top, I'm going to go ahead and unwrap these drawers, get them in there, and then show you the new hardware that I've chosen for these drawers. Now I am going to be replacing the old wooden knobs with these new kind of bronzy brass colored knobs. I thought that these would really go well to complement the top and the color that we've chose. So they'll do a little pop of color, but not too much of a distraction from the beauty of the rest of the piece. We've got one final step. I'm going to be using the Stops Rust Metallic to just touch up these hinges here. I want the hinges to match the knobs so that all the hardware is the same across the board. All right, that's a wrap on this dresser flip. I love the way that it turned out. My vision went directly to the dresser. Everything from the base, when I used the bonding primer with the 5-in-1 can. I love the way that it kind of allows you to get a bigger space with the vertical and horizontal fans, but then also has the option for like lower output on the thinner areas where you don't want drips at all. And those are like the most common areas that I typically get drips when I'm spraying. So that's a really cool feature of the 5-in-1 can. And then of course the elderberry color, very, very beautiful. It turned out flawless. It dried super well. There's no splotchiness. This spray paint was amazing. And then of course the Gator products helped me to get all of the finish off the tops and the drawers inside, along with the scuff sanding to make sure that our primer adhered really well. And the Varathane products from the pre-stain and the dark walnut stain itself, and then the polyurethane triple thick, it just all came together so, so well. So I hope you guys enjoyed this project and learned something. Thanks for stopping by Rust-Oleum. And with that, I'm Lauren, and we'll see you next time.